Hello everybody, and you're very welcome back to another little video on some flowers from the garden on this wet, cold May weekend, which is a pity really because we should have lovely weather, but the little rain that are having is super. It's going to bring on lovely flowers hopefully for the rest of the month. And it's been quite cold in the evening, so plants are a bit slow in getting going, but hopefully now things will improve after this. And the title of this little video this evening is Inspired By, and I'm inspired by for this walking around the garden and just seeing what I have that's available that I can use in this arrangement. And it's a very simple design that you can all try at home, hopefully, and have a bit of fun with. And for this, I'm going to use something a little bit different in that we're not using floral foam. Now, some of you might have one of these little gizmos stashed in the bottom of back of a cupboard or in a drawer, or find them in a charity shop when they're open again. But they've been around for years and years and years, and they're called a pin holder. Now, I have one here in a box, which isn't quite the same as the one. These ones are very old that I have here, but once you buy one, you have it forever if you mind it. And normally they're a lead base with brass pins, but I haven't been able to get some of these ones with the brass pins from my wholesaler for a while. I've only got ones with metal pins, but this one has brass pins, which is, I wouldn't like to tell you how old it is. But they're a fantastic little piece of equipment to have when you're doing flowers from the garden, especially for dahlias, things like foxgloves or lilies or irises, any of those kind of flowers. And it's what we used to always call back in the day was an arrangement in a hurry. So if you have one in a container, you can use it. So I'm going to explain to you now how you do that. So you need to have a container of some description that holds water. Now this is one of these top hats that are produced by the people that make all the containers for flower arranging and our florists. And it's a good deep container, so that holds quite a lot of water. You might also have a nice pottery dish at home that you'd like to use. And this is just a little flower pot saucer. I bought quite a few of them, and it's lined, it's glazed, so it will not leak. If you use just an ordinary terracotta flower pot saucer, it's porous, so the water will come out of it. But this one is glazed. The only problem is sometimes something that's too shiny, it's quite difficult to get your pin holder to fit to it. And this one is quite big, so I'm going to use this little dish here. Now this can be bought, this stuff called Oasis Fix. That's just because it's Oasis is the brand name, but you can buy that in a little roll in most garden centres or flower shops. And it's like very good blue tack, really. It's really sticky, green stuff that is very tacky. Now the only trouble is when you're using this, your container needs to be dry. If there's any water, it will not stick. So what you need to do then is you need to get 3 little pieces about the size of a pea, and you pop them onto the bottom of the pin holder. Whoop, it's sticking to my fingers. But if you can't find one of these to buy, you can get them online. They're called a Kenzan, K-E-N-Z-A-N, or a pin holder, and they're all available now to buy online. And it's a great way of saving on using floral foam for certain types of flowers that you kind of can find difficult to get into foam. They're brilliant for daffodils, tulips, irises as well in the springtime, and you can do a very quick arrangement with a lovely bunch of daffodils. So now I hope you can see there I have 3 little blobs of that Oasis Fix on my pin holder. Now they're very prickly, and just one thing I will say is do not put any floral foam on these. I know to my cost, way back when I was learning flower arranging first, I did that and I made it went in, so it took me forever with a pin or a needle to poke it all out again. And you can also put fairly strong branches on this by splitting them and getting them to sit into it. So it's quite useful. So I'm just going to put that, actually I'm going to kind of put it to one side in here. I'm just putting it on and giving it a little twist like that. So it's in there and it won't fall out. And then you can fill up your dish with water when you have your arrangement done. And you can also put in marbles, glass beads, nice stones, whatever things you have like that, shells, depending on what you're doing. You could just do a nice design with around your foliage and your flowers of what you have collected, and it just looks well on a table. So that's with the pin holder stuck in there. Actually, I might use this one now when I have done it like this, and I can get some water in a minute. So for this one today, I'm going to use what was in the garden when I walked around. Was this plant called Solomon Seal. It's got lovely little white bells coming down, and it's very pretty, and it spreads. It's what we call a perennial plant in that it spreads in the ground and it comes up every spring. And I'm going to pop on one there, and I'm going to get, they're not actually, no, I'm going to go back to the other dish because my scale is not right, the height isn't right. Sometimes these can get defoliated by a sawfly, so you have to be careful that you use them when you have them, when they're looking well like this. Now when I pick these, I just put them into a bucket of cold water. On the other videos I've showed you, we talked about how to condition plant material, but with this I'm just putting them like that, 2 little pieces. I might put in another bit in a minute. Now this is a very simple design, so it's not going to take a lot of plant material. And in here in my little bucket I have some tulips, and they're little kind of whitey, creamy, yellowy tulips, which are kind of neutral in colour. And I have those cut their stems when I brought them back in, and then I wrap them up really tightly in a piece of paper to get them to grow, to take a good drink and to stay nice and tight like that. So for this then I'm going to, that's a nice strong one when he's losing a little petal. We'll just take off that. That's a nice straight one. So I'm just going to put these coming down through the centre of this design. Just some tulips. Now you could use gerbers, you could use roses, you could use any other maybe large flower you might have in the garden at the moment. Maybe lilac if you were going to go with a different colour scheme, but I wanted to keep this very neutral with the just creams and greens really. And I'm going to get another tulip. So we've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shorten that little guy. 6. Want another tall one now at the back. I'll just turn it around now and I'll pop this guy in. I want one. Just turn it now and let you see the shape. We're just enclosing the tulips with 2 pieces of the Solomon Seal. Now you don't have to use Solomon Seal. You could use 2 little branches of blossom or willow, contorted or twisted willow. You could do a lot of different things. Just have fun with it. Go out and see what you can find in your garden and pop them in. And I'm just going to group a few more of these coming down the front. So if you cannot get a pin holder or Kenzan anywhere locally, you can go online, as I say, and buy one. I'm not sure what length of time there is now for the delivery of any of these things, but everything seems to be online now. I'm just going to take off all those little bits now. them in my bucket, my compost bucket. Wrap these guys up again, you might need them. And I'll put them back in their bucket of water. So now we have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 tulips going down the centre with the 2 pieces of Solomon's seal. Now we need something at the bottom just to hide the pin holder. So if I didn't have any other greenery, I could put in some marbles or green stones or any glass, all that kind of stuff that people nearly all have in their house. But for this, I'm going to use some large leaves. Now these are the leaves of the Fatsia japonica, the castor oil plant, which is a house plant, but it grows outside perfectly well in Ireland in this climate. But one thing is that you don't put it where it gets too much sun, because if you do, the leaves get very yellow and they don't look as nice and green, but they're very leathery, so they're ideal. The other thing you can use are just normal ivy leaves off the wall or off a tree, and get large ivy leaves. And when you're picking your leaves like that, you need to submerge them in a basin of water to get a good drink before you use them. So I think I'm going to use the Fatsia leaves because they're a different form to what Solomon's seal leaves, and they're just a nice green, and they're like little fingers. Now you have to be careful with your fingers when you're using a pin holder because they are quite sharp. Just going to put one in at the back as well, just to cover up the mechanics. And another little guy here. This one has a little bit of damage now. So we're going to cheat a little bit. We're just going to give him a new haircut. I'll take off the little damaged bit off the leaf. These can kind of be impaled on the pins. It sounds very cruel, but it works. And also you could use in at the base of this would be a little bit of moss. Now I'm just going to show you now, I've just put 3 leaves around at the sides of this, and there's little petals on this one, and I'm going to put one out the front that's going to be very short. I'm going to pop him in and put him in between the pins at the front. Now I did have a container of moss, but I forgot to bring it over to my table. So we'll have to pretend that there's some moss in there, and we're going to put some water. Now I have also here, you could use, this is Choicea, Mexican orange blossom, which is a lovely flower. I might actually put a little bit of that now in at the base. And I have this lovely tree heather, which is called Erica arborea. It's a lovely conifer, or like a conifer foliage, not a conifer. It's a heather, but it grows as a shrub. It's tall, and it's a very good plant for flower arranging. So I'll just have a look at these Choicea now. They're nice, and they have a lovely scent. So I'm just going to take off the damaged leaves, and I'm just going to put them really tight down into the base of this. Short little flowers, short little bits. You could just use the little blossoms as well. I don't want too much clutter in the base of this, so I'm just going to tuck another little bit down in there, and another little one. This shrub is just coming into flower. This is Choicea ternata. I might just say Aztec Pearl. Aztec Pearl is another variety of this, which is lovely flowers on it as well. And I'm going to put another little one. Again, I picked all these and stood them all in a bucket of cold water till they had a good drink before I used them. And I'm going to put a bit in here at the back just to cover up the pins. And another little one just to cover up the pins. I'm just keeping this very simple with just neutral coloured flowers. but you go and have some fun with it and pick whatever flowers you'd like. It's very easy now to get there's lovely flowers available in the florists to buy, and you can use them. Just go in and buy yourself 3 carnations, 3 roses, 3 lilies. And for lilies, they last very well on this kind of a design on a pin holder. Now, I will pour water in here now. I haven't done it, but I will pour water in to fill that little dish with water, and it'll keep these flowers fresh for much longer than having them in floral foam. And also, it's easy to take out the bits that are dying, and you can replace them with some other little bits and pieces that you have. But it's a fantastic mechanic. We call all these bits we use for flower arranging mechanics, and it's a fantastic mechanic to have handy to do something fast and furious. If you have visitors coming and you have nothing, although we'll be able to have some visitors, you can have something done nice and easy on your hall table to welcome your visitors when this lockdown is easing a little bit more. And I hope you enjoyed that little video of very simple design using Solomon seal, tulips, fatsia leaves and choicea. So it's very few components in it, but you have fun, play around with it and do your own version of it. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully the weather will take up and we'll be able to be out in our gardens and being inspired by what we're able to grow and bring into the house, and have fun making a floral arrangement for yourself. Thank you all very much. See you soon. Bye.